Hey everyone, it's Jonathan from Little Red Tug, and if you've noticed, we're not at the water today, we're on the hard, because today is a maintenance day. So JP, myself, and even Toto are going to help out. We're going to be doing a couple things of maintenance. We're going to walk you through the engine and some of the changes that we're going to do and show you some of the modifications that we've done to Toto so that she's ready to go next week. I get a lot of questions on the blog about the amount of maintenance that's involved in Toto and keeping it up and running. The boat is super easy to maintain. First of all, the engine, the Volvo Penta D130, is easily accessible, as you can see. And second of all, it's really not a complicated engine. It's a simplified diesel engine and everything's easy and in sight. I take a couple hours every spring to maintain it by changing the oil, and then throughout the season I'm just doing small maintenance things. Today we're going to change the impeller on Toto, so let's go. The Volvo D130 is a really simplified engine. It sits in the middle of the boat here, you can see, and by raising the hatch up, it's really accessible to get to all the different parts. That includes the front of the motor, the back of the motor, and throughout the transom you'll see the rudder. The batteries are located in the back here, as well as an additional set that's located under the aft seating. Today we're going to be focused on the impeller, right located here. What does the impeller do, JP?
This is the raw water cooling system. This is going to pump seawater or fresh water from outside the hull of the boat through the motor, where it's going to mix through a heat exchanger with a coolant. No, let me say that.
So that there is the impeller here. You can see that we've just cracked the top off here, and like JP's going to tell you about making sure you know which the orientation is. So just make sure you recognize which orientation it is and which way it's going, and then we'll look. There's two different parts to the impeller when we place it back inside.
Okay, so we're going to take the cover off the impeller here, and the first thing that we're going to check for is wear. On the cover, we're going to check for excessive wear. This one's got pretty minimal wear. You can see the remnants of the paper gasket here. There's some gasket material here and here. We're going to clean that up before we put it on. We're going to pay special attention to the orientation of the impeller so that when we reinstall the new impeller, the orientation is correct. And we're also just going to take a quick look for excessive wear in the housing. And if there's any sludge or any debris in here, we're going to get that cleaned out as well. Before we reinstall it, we're going to lubricate the lobes of the impeller so that on startup we don't have any premature wear or tearing of those lobes.
And we're not going to put an impeller in the cap.
I don't know what the proper way is to pull this out, Jonathan.
I think you just do it however you can do it. Comes right out. It actually looks like it is cracked in one spot.
A couple of lobes are cracked, yeah.
I think I'm going to keep this as a spare. Just in case, you know, it would always work as a spare.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it here. Is it cracked anywhere? Yeah. Turn it sideways so you can see it cracked. Yeah. Not too bad though. Routine wear. So that has 300 hours on it.
Yeah. Okay, so we've just removed the impeller here. We paid special attention to both the orientation of the impeller and the direction of rotation. And if you're like me and sometimes can't remember how things go back together, it's always a good idea to take a picture of how it looked before you took it apart, so if you get interrupted, there's no problem putting it back together again. When we're looking at this impeller, you can see that it actually does have a little bit of set to it. There is a little bit of wear on these lobes, and they're actually starting to crack and tear a little bit on the outside edge here. So this one was due for replacement. You can see that one right there got cracks on both the top and the bottom. So this one was definitely due for replacement. All right, so we're gonna move this project along because the rain has started here again. The impeller's in, we have it lubricated, it's in the same orientation. We have the replacement gasket in place. We're gonna put the cover back on, and we're gonna be very careful not to drop our tiny screws down into the sump.
We're gonna just super speed this up. It won't have any sound.
Oh, sugar. Fucking cock, fuck.
What did you just do, JP?
Shit, cock, fuck.
What did you just tell everyone that you should do? And now what do you do?
Shit, cock, fuck.
Now what are you doing?
Well, you may have heard me just mention a few moments ago that we're going to be extra careful not to drop any of the screws. And I also mentioned we're going to speed things up because it's starting to rain here. But apparently when you have the silicone lubricant on your hands and you're trying to speed things up because it's starting to rain, you might be more prone to drop the screws into the bilge. So hence the magnet on a stick.
Well done.
What are you doing?
Did you get it? Let's see if we got it. So we had to use the forward hatch here. And there it is. That's why you have a magnetic tool. Nice work, JP.
Okay, so we're snugging the cover back on the impeller here. And it kind of leads us to our next point. We're doing this on the hard here. If we had found some damaged components or lost some screws and not been able to retrieve them, we don't want to be out in the water when we're doing this. The other issue is that before we actually launch the boat, we're going to back it into the ramp, make sure the pickup has some water, and run the boat. And we're going to look for a water discharge immediately just to make sure that the pump is functioning as it should.
Here's a couple other things I want to show you on the boat. Here's our battery conditioner located under the aft seat here. So this stays plugged in all the time. It doesn't draw a lot of energy, but it just keeps the batteries conditioned. And then the aft here, these two extra batteries are used for the air conditioning system exclusively. There are two additional batteries, and those are both the house and the starter batteries. And those are located just in the aft of the engine right here. So one of the things we've been having problems with a little bit is our bilge plumb, and it just gets clogged with a lot of debris that comes in from the boat from regular usage, or if you park it under a tree with a lot of pine needles. So what I've been doing a lot is just when I get back, part of my end of routine for cleaning the boat is also taking a shop vac and just suctioning all the crud out of here. So
So here we are out on one of our local ponds. We did a dunk test at the ramp. We had good water discharge, no leaking in the pump. Here you can see the pump still looks fine. The impeller. Motor's nice and quiet. You can see our water discharge is good too. Obviously the water impeller is doing its job. And truth be told, I really don't know anything about diesel motors in boats. I've got a little bit of a mechanical background, but these boats are so simple that anybody, even if you don't have any experience, you can figure it out. Just watch a YouTube video, follow somebody else's experience, and you'll be fine. How was your day, JP?
So after all the work on the boat, we decided to take a trip out. We're on Holland Pond in Holland, Mass, which is really close to where we live. It's not a great big lake, but it's a good chance to test the motor out. There are some gorgeous homes on here, as you can see behind me. And JP, despite the weather, had an awesome day. So thanks a lot for following along with us here at Little Red Tug. We hope you enjoyed